You can sit at any speaker and then they can hear you. So whichever one you want.
All right. So at any microphone? Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah, microphone, not speaker.
We'll keep six Kevin Hart's distance away.
So, Doherty off.
Joe, your audio is cutting out
Okay,
really bad.
so Doherty's off.
You got to say it again.
Yeah. D-A-U-G-H-E-R-T-Y. Doherty's off of the committee.
Do you know what he's saying?
Something about Doherty. He spelled Doherty, D-A-U-G-H-E-R-T-Y.
Oh yeah, Nancy Doherty is off, and so is Rob Waller.
All right.
How many people are calling in?
I need one. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, we got 5 now. We got a quorum, so we can start, Joe.
Good. First thing that needs to occur is someone needs to make a motion to make someone the chair.
I make a motion that Jason Ground chairs this meeting.
Well, it can't be you. Somebody else needs to do that.
How do you know who did that?
I just need to write it down. I don't care who does it.
JJ made that motion.
All right.
Oh, I was looking at.
We need a second. John Moore, we need a second.
I'll second it.
There we go.
I think that's my phone ringing. Is it Seinfeld?
Who was it that you nominated?
Jason Ground.
All right.
I'll move inside now.
Now that you got to be serious, you're the chairman.
I'm holding out for double the pay tonight, though, just so you know.
You are going to get double the pay for half the work.
So, we got a motion on the floor, a second. We need a roll call for this. So, I will do a roll call of Commissioner Haynes,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Bingham,
Yes.
and who else is with us?
John Sturgeon?
Commissioner Sturgeon
Yes.
and Commissioner Ground.
I guess.
All right.
Thanks, Pat. Okay, so
You did the roll call. Now you would ask for public comment, Jason.
okay, do we have any public?
Officially, no, we gotta start the meeting. That was just to get the chair in. Now you gotta start the meeting.
Okay, well, let's start the meeting. And do we have any public comments? How do we know if we have public comments?
Well, the public comments are the when we get down to item number 1 under new business, you will see public content of what two residents sent in. They're very long-winded letters, and I will have the clerk read those into the minutes for you. So, do you want to read those in now, Joe? If you go to Board Docs
Okay.
and you see the request for an ordinance allowing chickens in the village of Chatham. Hi, Dave.
Do we want to do that, or do we want to get the approval of the minutes and the other thing, and then we can read those when we get to that, the new business of that?
He's on the phone.
No. Are you DRK? Yeah.
Jason, what would you like to do?
Are you on your?
What are my choices again? I'm sorry, I was away.
Jason,
Yes.
since there are two comments regarding the chickens, we can either do the public comment now, or we can wait until we get to new business.
I
So,
think you could do this on your cell phone, but forget about doing the video. And just call it.
Let's wait till new business since we have it under chickens.
That way.
all right. So,
And then follow those two
all right.
codes.
So next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the last planning commission meeting.
All right.
Yeah, it's,
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
yeah.
I'll
you don't-
motion
you don't-
to approve,
you don't have to
JK.
If you're just calling in.
Thank you.
So,
And do we have a second?
I'll second, this is Mark.
have the phone number?
Do we need to do a roll call for that?
And then there's
Nope.
two numbers. there's
All in
two
favor,
codes
say aye. All
underneath
opposed, say no.
Email.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
These guys don't know how to mute.
Looks like motion passes. Okay, so we go to old business,
That's it. Yep,
and
yep.
looks like discussion of modifications to 111.17 outdoor cafe permit, 10 p.m. entertainment curfew, and exit entry gates.
Do you want to handle that, do that tonight? Do we want to do the old business, or we just want to do the chickens tonight?
Being new, I don't know what that is or what was been discussed about it since it's old business. I tried to go through the village website and in other areas to locate some of these discussions. I couldn't find anything, and maybe I just need to be pointed in the right direction. Is this something that validates the discussion at this point?
Right now, for this evening, we were hoping just to handle the new business. We've been discussing those other two items over the last few months, and we were pulling more information together for the cafe permit and for the new zoning we were looking for a zone. We don't have a zoning for a winery, a distillery, or a microbrew. So we were having discussions on what type of zoning we should have for those. But really tonight, we were just gonna try to hit the request for chickens. If that's okay with the commission.
I think that's okay. Does anybody have a objection?
Nope.
Nope.
All right, so I guess we would entertain the public comments during the new business now.
Yes. All right. So the public comments are as follows. From Chard Creasy, CHARDECREASEY.
She pronounces it Charday.
Charday.
Yeah.
Sorry. My name is Charday Creasy. I've lived in Chatham all my life and have a deep love for this community, and I want to see it grow and thrive. I, and many others, believe that allowing the residents of Incorporated Chatham to keep small flocks of chickens would be a positive change for our community. Across the country, cities large and small have opened their communities to small flocks of backyard chickens. From San Diego to New York City, people are embracing backyard flocks of chickens and their many benefits. Even our own Chicago and Springfield have allowed its residents to maintain small flocks, and they have reaped the rewards for years. The first and most obvious benefit of owning chickens is for the eggs. Chickens on average begin laying at 6 months old and will lay one egg every other day for 7 years. Having just 2 hens per person in a household can keep a family stocked in eggs as long as they have healthy laying hens. Having more can provide food security to the family in a time of crisis. Chickens are natural garbage disposal. Chickens will happily eat almost all kitchen scraps, peels, seeds, shells. They even enjoy and benefit from the occasional dairy treat, as long as it isn't moldy or spoiled. Instead of these items ending up as adding to our growing landfill problems, they are turned into high-quality fertilizer for gardens and flower beds. Combined with responsible composting other household waste, 50% of all household waste is compostable, we can make a serious positive impact on our environment. Chickens are also wonderful natural pest control. Contrary to popular belief, chickens are not herbivores. They are omnivores like humans, and chickens are voracious eaters. Chickens will seek out and devour every insect they can get in their beaks on. They'll even eat small rodents, lizards, and snakes if given a chance. A small flock of chickens can keep the average yard pest-free year-round without the use of harmful chemicals. There are some arguments against backyard chickens that I'd like to address. Many people are concerned with the possible noise of a flock in their neighbors' backyards. Others are concerned about the smell or having an unsightly coop to look at. These fears are based on misinformation and distorted facts. I'd like to provide the truth behind these ideas so that these fears can be solved. Despite what many think, chickens really aren't loud. A hen laying song or the sound they make while laying an egg is the loudest the average hen will ever be. That laying song is measured only 65 decibels. That is the same level as the average human conversation. Your neighbors talking and laughing are actually louder than the overwhelming majority of hen sounds. A dog barks is even louder at 90 decibels. We already have noise nuisance ordinances, and those laws should be enforced indiscriminately. If an animal conforms to Ordinance 9009, they should not be restricted based upon potential noise alone. Chicken coops are no different than an outdoor dog run in a kennel. There are many prefabricated and DIY plans for beautiful coops and runs. Coops that are unsightly or stink are not only against the village ordinance on nuisance buildings, but are also unhealthy and dangerous
Has joined the meeting.
for the birds that live in them. We have regulations ensuring that outdoor dog kennels and runs are not allowed to become unsightly, and I believe as a baseline, those regulations are a good start. Chickens would be a wonderful addition to our town, and I implore the commission to please consider adopting new ordinance to allowing the keeping of small flocks of chickens within the village of Chatham. That's letter number 1. Letter number 2 from Harry Lewis. Greetings, trustees. Just wanted to share my support for changing the zoning to allow hens to be kept for egg production or pets in the village of Chatham. There are so many cities, towns, and villages across the state and country that allow homeowners to keep chickens successfully, safely, and humanely. The interest in locally grown and sourced foods has never been greater. Concerns over the supply chain of processed food has increased with the pandemic. Because of the hatcheries across the country are having record sales and sell out till summer. Please give Chatham residents the opportunity to source our own eggs and help children in the community understand where and how their food are produced. Thank you. Harry Lewis, 848 Oxford Drive.
Okay, so that's the end of the public comments?
That is.
That is, I'd just like to comment that both of those folks wrote very good letters, gave very good detail, gave both sides of the story, and I appreciate people submitting items like this because they gave a good reason on why they want to have the thing changed, okay? Now, Ryan Crawford, our code enforcement officer, is here, and he's going to tell you about our ordinance that we have that does not allow chickens, and a little background. We went through this, probably 3-4 years ago? And it came in front of the Planning Commission and didn't make it past the Planning Commission at that time. But Ryan will give you the background on what our ordinance says and what some of the covenants in the subdivision say, okay?
Good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. 4 years ago when we met to discuss this, the one issue that was brought to light, and I'll get to the details of the ordinance in a minute, but one issue that was brought to light that me and Pat had several conversations about was the fact that you have a community such as ours, and we have a lot of covenances in neighborhoods. Now, some of us live in neighborhoods that have an active HOA. Some of us have a covenants in a neighborhood with an inactive HOA. A lot of times the inactive HOA neighborhoods will fall back and rely on me to enforce the village's ordinances. Where that becomes an issue is in all of those, after we researched that, in all of the covenances, chickens were considered a agricultural animal, and it was not allowed by any of the covenances. In fact, at one point
We're losing you.
Yeah, can we ask everyone else to mute their phones, mute their things, because we're getting some interference.
what'd you say?
She was asking people to mute.
So anyway, so me and Pat came up with a map, and he may have a copy of that somewhere, but 4 years ago, we had a map that showed that the majority of the village of Chatham in the corporate limits were restricted from having these having farm animals in the corporate limits. So basically the way it's written right now is, and if somebody calls me to ask about farm animals, chickens are on the list. And it is considered an agricultural animal, and it is not allowed in the village of Chatham. Are there any questions about any of the wording of that ordinance?
Now, the process to get that changed is there would have to be a recommendation from the Planning Commission to change that. We would hold a public hearing, and at that public hearing, we would take comment from, somebody needs to mute their phone.
It's probably me, Pat. I'm having a hell of a time getting into this meeting, but I am adamant about not allowing chickens. If I have to drive up there, I will.
All right.
This came up before, and it's a bad, bad idea. Where I live, we don't allow chickens in our homeowners association. And if you pass something, we're going to have to try to enforce it, and each homeowner association will view things differently. You're going to have a mess on your hands. Also, the people that wrote the letters didn't talk about how chickens are dirty, filthy, they crap all the time, they draw flies. You want me to keep going?
It's your dime, man.
All right. They're noisy when they lay eggs. If you have, each chicken lays 1 egg a day. I doubt if all the people, if you have like 6 chickens, You're going to eat 6 eggs every day. So probably they're going to try to sell them, and then that could cause salmonella if they don't clean the eggs or they're cracked. If you let them free range, they'll peck the yard into a mud pile. So, that's my thoughts. I don't know how to mute my phone. I don't have a camera on my computer, and I don't have speakers. So it's hard for me to come into these meetings, and I'm doing the best I can.
Maybe just turn your volume down then for a little bit, Dave, until you're ready to talk, okay? There you go.
All right, is that better?
That's a lot better.
I think you guys, or whoever hosts the seat, to be able to, you should be able to mute him. Like on Zoom, as the host can mute someone. You might see if you can do that.
So you can only mute all of them at once or not? That's weird.
Being part of the community.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Does someone else want to make some comments then?
Pat, you were after before Dave spoke. You were talking about what it takes to pass this. So, and you were just talked about needing a public hearing. Can you continue with what your thought process is on that?
Yeah, we would have a public hearing, and then after that public hearing, the board would decide to make a motion to send that on to the village board. And then the village board would have it scheduled for one of their committees of the whole. There'll be discussion at it, and then they would probably have it up for passage. If it doesn't get recommended out of committee, then it just dies in committee. But if it made it out of committee, then it would go to the full board vote. And then if they voted yes, then it would become law that you could have chickens, and however that way the ordinance has ended up written. If you guys say no tonight, it dies here. If you say yes tonight, then we go on to other steps.
Okay, do we have enough information to do a roll call and vote on it?
Or do you?
And Pat, this would take a majority of the committee or a majority of those present.
It's the majority of those present.
Okay, we have no more public comments. Do we have any comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, can you hear me again? This is Dave Johnson. I still think this is a bad idea, and I'd like to know how the village would enforce violations. You can't even really enforce swimming pool violations, let alone chicken violations. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, not at this time. If this commission and the board wanted to allow chickens, we would have to put together some kind of guidelines and regulations, and then we would make sure that the public knew all that, and then we would try to do our best at being able to enforce it. Me and Ryan do not make the laws. We just have to enforce one way or the other. Okay, so we had two people that were interested in chickens. They brought it up. They followed all the procedures. They got the thing on the agenda for this evening. It's up for discussion. I understand your passion for that, Dave. my opinion doesn't matter one way or the other. But is there anybody else that has any comments or any thoughts, or are you guys just ready to vote?
I'll make a quick comment. I have an actually a appreciation for chickens going through all of the COVID, because I mean we've been buying them from someone that lives on out in the country and lives in a farm and couldn't get in the grocery store or whatever. However, we've kind of been through this process before. We went through it several years ago, or a couple years ago, when I was on the planning commission. We took it pretty seriously. I mean, we looked at we met several times about it, and we really felt like
The police.
there are so many subdivisions that actually have homeowners associations that are going to not let them have them anyway, and then you're going to have some that have non-active, and then that's going to create a battle. And there just wasn't, it just didn't pass. And I mean, I don't know if we have a roll call for that. Voted yes or no, but I mean, we went into this in detail, and it didn't pass then. And I am really not for it now. So buying someone else's country, I just don't think. I have a hard time getting my neighbors to take care of the yard and mow it. They've got chickens. I've got a whole nother problem.
There's a comment I'd like to make that I probably should have said something sooner, but I actually thought it would have been brought up. According to the ordinances in our village codified book, it does specifically call out the fact that the Chatham Police Department does enforce those animal regulations. So I didn't know if any of you were thinking if I was the one that actually did that. I mean, if this were going to move forward, it would have to be some sort of a joint effort, because now we're looking at accessory structures housing these animals, and then the animals themselves, the enforcement would go from the police department, and then the building and maintenance part of it would be me. So that was another one of the complications that came up in the last time we had talked about this. I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that.
Anybody else have any thoughts? Well, are we at a point where we can do a motion to vote on the chickens? Okay.
I don't know if everyone heard you, Jason, but Jason was looking for someone to make a motion either to move this forward or to stop it tonight.
I make a motion to stop it tonight.
And then in our process,
Dave Johnson.
yeah, and we need a second for that.
So,
I'll second it.
Dave, your motion then would be to continue to not amend the village ordinances to allow chickens.
Yeah, and when I was on the zoning board, I thought if we don't make a motion, it just dies. But I'll make a motion that we don't go forward. We leave it the way it is.
Yeah, so your motion is to not amend the ordinance, the village ordinances, to allow for chickens in the village limits.
Yes.
So a yes vote is to keep it the same, is that right?
Correct. Yes, that would be correct. And who made a second? Was there a second to Dave's motion?
Second, Jason?
Something in the speaker, isn't it? Right.
We're
Okay.
muted right now.
Dave, get away from
With
us.
that, if it's okay with you, Chairman, I take the roll.
Yes, please.
Okay. Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Commissioner Bingaman.
No.
Commissioner Hay.
Yeah. Yes, you can vote for Mark Simpson.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Who did I miss?
Dave Johnson.
I'm Sturgeon.
Sorry, Commissioner Sturgeon. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
It's fine, yeah.
Come to the meeting, I guess. Do we let him in, or, okay, we don't let him in? Do you want me to go talk to her?
Tell him it's
All right.
almost over.
Okay. Don't need-
Motion approved, 6-1.
Okay, seeing no further discussions on the agenda for tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Next meeting will be June 18. Is there any need for any further discussions?
No, I appreciate
Are we gonna do this? Are we gonna meet physically?
I think our next meeting, should be able to meet physically because I think the governor's allowing of 10 people or less will allow for us to meet. Because I know Funderburg is still in California. And then we'll just have to limit, if you guys are gonna have speakers or someone comes to listen or talk, we're gonna have to limit them. We're still gonna have to broadcast it, but we could have the board come and meet. But if we have to stick to the 10 or under guideline, it's gonna be tough with a 9-person board, myself, a clerk, and then anybody who wants to come to the meeting, so.
Okay, the reason I ask is I don't have any good technology. I apologize for that. But could I go there with you
Sure.
and sit 6 feet away?
As long as we don't have more than 10 people in here, you could come down, yeah. So that'll be an we'll try to schedule it that way for the next meeting so that we know how many are gonna come. You know, if 2 of you wanna come to this meeting and then the rest can do it, you know, by WebEx, then we just gotta work through this until this thing passes, so. I appreciate all of your patience.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry I got excited, but I'm a little passionate about this.
She was trying to get on Facebook Live.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
I make a motion.
Second.
By the time she got here, the meeting was over.
Second.
Who was the
Who
second?
was it, did she say?
Bingaman?
Thank you.
She wasn't mad or anything, she
Yeah.
just wanted to know why.
All right. Can we do we need to do a roll call, please?
So, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay.
Aye.
I have it.
Here.
Meeting is complete.
Bye, thanks.
Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
Dave Johnson.
Has left the meeting.
Thanks a lot, Pat.